Hello ladies and gentlemen and TV show lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video, it is going to be another one of my end of the year / new year videos. And I'm going to be covering my top 10 most anticipated shows of 2022. So if you've been keeping up to date with my channel, then you will know that I have already done my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2022, as well as my top 10 most anticipated video games of 2022. And now, just for the sake of covering all of my bases, I'm going to be looking at my top 10 most anticipated shows of 2022. Now this list is going to consist of a mix of favorite shows releasing new seasons as well as brand new shows. And this will also be a mix of cable television and streaming service series. And so with all that being said, let's hop right into things. Before I get into my own honorable mentions, I wanted to address that there are shows that I haven't seen that are definitely on my watch list that I'm sure people are going to be looking for on this list, but they won't be there. However, I do want to include them because I do firmly believe that if I had already watched these shows that they would very much so be included. So here is a brief glimpse into some of this year's biggest shows that I have yet to watch. And those are Peaky Blinders, the final season, The Crown, the final season, Bridgerton Season 2, Ozark's final season, The Witcher spin-off Blood Origin, and The Umbrella Academy Season 3. And now, of course, in typical fashion, here are my honorable mentions. Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Ahsoka, Peacemaker, Wednesday, Pam and Tommy, and Resident Evil. And now, number 10, The Walking Dead, the final season. I know a lot of people gave up on this show long ago, and honestly, I can't blame them. There was certainly a dark period where even I myself gave up and didn't bother watching that season until it showed up on Netflix. But that doesn't change the fact that I've been with this show since 2012. That's a decade of my life spent with these characters in this world along this journey. Yes, this show has long overstayed its welcome, but when Angela Kang took over as showrunner for seasons 9, 10, and 11, it mostly returned to its former glory, as these have been likely the best seasons of the show. Regardless of my thoughts on the series as a whole, I am excited to see how they close things out, marking the end of an era for cable television. Number 9, The Boys Season 3. The Boys is easily among my favorite shows that is currently airing. It is brash, crude, violent, raunchy, over-the-top, dark, twisted, disturbing, literally everything that I didn't know I wanted in a superhero show, and now I couldn't be happier that I have it. I honestly didn't even know that these comics existed until the show. Now that I've read the comics, the show is actually kind of tame, believe it or not. And yes, the show has diverged a little bit from the comics, but that's honestly what gets me even more excited for this next season, because I genuinely don't know where they're going to take it. Though we have very little information whatsoever about this upcoming season, like we don't even actually have a solid release date yet, it doesn't change the fact that I will be diabolically smiling ear to ear when this series finally drops its 3rd season. Number 8, The Mandalorian Season 3. I mean, obviously, The Mandalorian is likely already among my all-time favorite shows, and definitely among my favorite going right now. I love Star Wars in general, and I love this little part of Star Wars that they have carved out for themselves. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have truly done some magnificent work. Pedro Pascal is the man, and there is so much to love about this show. I honestly adored its first 2 seasons. My only worry is, where do they go now? Where season 2 wraps up, it seems like the whole point of the show has kind of concluded. Don't get me wrong, I am still excited, but it ends up way up in this 8th place spot, despite my love, because I really don't know what to expect, and honestly, I am a touch concerned. Number 7, Halo. This is a show that seems like it's been stuck in development hell for like a decade or so. I mean, how many times did we have Halo movies or shows rumored on and off again? But they finally did it. Like, it's actually coming. I mean, I'm not the biggest Halo fan in the world. I have played the games casually on and off ever since Halo 3. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that this show looks damn good. It so accurately replicates those old school live action trailers that we used to get for the games. The suits look great, the visuals look stunning. I am interested to see how they adapt the story, but yeah, this show looks promising so far. Number 6, Stranger Things Season 4. Another one just like The Mandalorian, where this is among my favorite shows running today and likely already among my all-time favorites. They left things off at an appropriate point to leave us wanting more after season 3, and the brief glimpses that we have gotten so far of season 4 do look fantastic. It's Stranger Things season 4. That's all I really have to say about it. But I will say that hopefully if this isn't the last season, that they don't make us wait another 3 years for the next. Number 5. Moon Knight. I'm not gonna stand here and pretend to be an expert on this character because I really don't know all that much, but from what I've been told, he is basically Marvel's Batman, but in some cases, much more brutal. We have already had some very brief looks, and from what I can tell, this may possibly be the darkest MCU content we have gotten yet. The suit looks absolutely perfect, and they somehow managed to get Oscar Isaac for the lead role. What's not to love? Hopefully, it lives up to the hype. Number 4. House of the Dragon. I know most of us are still feeling pretty burned and disappointed by Game of Thrones' ending, but that doesn't mean that this will be the same. Look at it this way, it's essentially a fresh start. And Game of Thrones gave us 6 seasons or so, depending on who you ask, of the best television to ever air. Not to mention we have new showrunners like Miguel Sapochnik and Martin and Ryan Condal. It will once again be based off of source material written by George R.R. Martin, like Game of Thrones seasons 1 to 6, and it has a star-studded cast including Paddy Considine, Olivia Cook, Matt Smith, Riz Ahmed, and many more. Only time will tell if this prequel can live up to its predecessor, but all signs are pointing towards a worthy successor. Number 3. ObiWan Kenobi. You knew this one was going to be high up. How could it not be? Ever since the credits rolled on Star Wars Revenge of the Sith back in 2005, Star Wars fans everywhere have been chomping at the bit to see Ewan McGregor back in his Jedi robes as Obi-Wan Kenobi once again in a solo project. Yes, we may have waited a little longer than we had hoped for, but we are finally here. On top of that, we have Hayden Christensen returning as Darth Vader, Joel Edgerton returning as Uncle Owen Lars, and a stacked cast alongside them including Benny Safdie of the Safdie brothers, Kumail Nanjiani, Sung Kang, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and of course along with many more, and I am sure there are going to be plenty of surprises. Deborah Chow will serve as the series director, for which I believe we are in great hands because she has directed 2 of The Mandalorian's best episodes. Number 2. The Last of Us. I was hesitant to put this one on the list because I honestly don't think it's dropping in 2022, as its production isn't even set to wrap until June of 2022. However, if you look it up, many industry insiders and media outlets do believe that it will be dropping in late 2022, and one of the series directors, Kantemir Balakov, listed the release date as 2022 in their Instagram bio. Long story short though, it's The Last of Us. The first game is probably in my top 3 favorite video games of all time. The casting has been unexpected but surprisingly spot on. It's being created by the game director Neil Druckmann and creator of the highly praised and award-winning limited series Chernobyl, Craig Mazin. HBO has an insane track record when it comes to TV series. The hype for this one is immeasurable. All eyes are on them to deliver. And I can say right here, right now, on camera, that I have every bit of confidence that they will. And number 1, Amazon's The Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is my favorite movie trilogy of all time. This is set to be the most expensive TV series ever made, with its first season alone carrying a budget of $465 million. Now, as we all know, money isn't everything, and I am a bit concerned because it stars a cast of mostly unknowns. And it's being created and led by 2 gentlemen who only have 2 uncredited credits on IMDb for writing Star Trek Beyond. And nothing else. Yes, their resumes are paper thin at best for pretty much everyone. However, I am still hopeful and have confidence that Amazon knows what they're doing. They're putting a lot of money into it, which means that they must have confidence. And if you think back to the original Lord of the Rings, that had many unknowns in it as well. Or even something like Game of Thrones, too. So yes, there is a lot at risk here, and a lot of unknown factors. But there is no denying my excitement to be back in Middle-earth once again, and this time around it will be set in the Second Age, which is something that we have never explored before. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my most anticipated shows of 2022. While you're at it, feel free to let me know what your most anticipated shows are of this upcoming year. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.